Does. I had about an hour-long conversation with AqueroN 2 days ago.
Great, say more.
He's been messaging me a little bit, and he's actually very complimentary of me and you as a unit. And he was and then we had a conversation. I talked to him about what he does and his mindset and how he's feeling and how well he's performing. And he isn't even a full-time pro. He is still in school. He's been full-time, of course, over the summer, and with the world going to shit, he's been full-time during that. But he studies computer science in Spain. He's 19 years old, of course. He is lovely. He's a bloody nice kid. I've only got pleasant things to say. I really enjoyed talking with him. He's a real positive. You can see he's just a positive person, and I think it's very reflective on Rotti, on the players that he's picked up, that they're both such lovely people, though Goblin's a piece of shit, it's unrelated. And yeah, I really enjoyed my conversation with him, so it's kind of hard to remain unbiased. For now, I just like him.
Now, Grant, I'm going to say something that has been said probably 37 million times during the last 7 months. A sentiment that is echoed around the world and is more true now more than ever. But I am just going to say, Grant, you should start a podcast.
Oh God, no.
You can talk to all the players. You can talk about how awesome they are. I feel like there are not enough podcasts right now, and not enough people are doing podcasts. There should be more podcasts in the world.
If you want a secret, and I'll give you a little secret, I am working on something. It is not with current players, though. It is with previous players. I've been contacting a couple of people that retired a few years back, and I wanted to do like a 45 minute small chat with them where we talk about StarCraft, how it affected their lives, what they're doing now, and also reflect back on the people that we've lost, be it Jeff and John Bain, Total Biscuit, and get their favourite stories about these people. So that's something in the works. Don't steal my ideas, stream. I've contacted a couple of people, including Huck, Rhett I've reached out to, Liquid Chef I've been wanting to get hold of, haven't quite figured that one out yet. So yeah, there is something coming. I'd like to talk to the people, because I've been around since the beginning. I'd like to speak to those that have moved on to different pastures in their life, but still StarCraft was so important too.
It's like VH1's Behind the Music, but with StarCraft pros. Behind the Keyboard with Grant Hill. We caught up with these old StarCraft gamers to find out what they're doing now and reminisce about the old times. Anyway, enough jokes. AqueroN's moving in here. Holy shit, he's being so aggressive, Grant. Yeah. The Hellions from MarineLord not getting their shots off in time. He is going to clean this up, but man, this is such an aggressive play from our Spanish Terran player. Wow.
Yeah, really nice, because he also kills free workers. It's huge. He finally gets cleaned up, but right now AqueroN has a free worker lead. He sacrifices his units here, but hitting just before that cyclone comes up, that's going to put him in an early advantage, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. Now, what did he sacrifice for this? He hasn't yet built a Raven. His starport at home is only now finishing up its add-on, so his tech is slightly slower, but generally, resources loss-wise, we can see it's actually dead even. But those SCVs for MarineLord are going to slow him down.
They are. So that's really the only thing that's going a little bit wrong for AqueroN right now, is that his Raven's a little bit behind. Basically, everything else is doing pretty well for him. The third from MarineLord going to be a big change, but I think AqueroN's just fine. Glad to see him diving that deep, but yeah, I hope he can pull out of this and really capitalize on his advantage. Because right now, it looks like he's not capitalizing on that advantage too much. Could be doing a bit more.
Yeah, the third is very quick for MarineLord. Like, insanely. Unbiddable Plate's going to go down here, and AqueroN hasn't been able to establish that. MarineLord is moving out with his Raven to look for a bit of harassment here on the natural. There is a tank, and the tank, of course, is actually a little scary. If the auto turret goes down, the tank will provide friendly fire. So we'll probably need to unsiege pretty quickly. AqueroN hasn't been able to scout anything. Now the third is actually almost done. He needs to be careful here that he doesn't take too much damage. He is going to lose a couple of workers, and actually that evens up that lost worker count for the game, both now losing 3. The game's still very even, but I am concerned. AqueroN's third only now going down, and in his main. MarineLord's being a little bit greedy.
But it's going to pay off for him, right? That Raven harass keeping AqueroN back home. AqueroN sacrificing his army that early, even though he took down MarineLord's army, it just means that neither player can really be that aggressive. So I think MarineLord reading the situation very well and saying, hey, wait a minute, if you stacked your whole army, I'm just going to take this risk. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to go for my third base, and there's not much you can do about it. Sure, it's going to be hard for me to defend, but there's nothing to defend against. It's like they're playing with Nerf bats for a little while. Finally, we see him cranking out the army supply a little bit more. Third Raven finishing up for MarineLord. AqueroN only on 2 Ravens, it looks like. But other than that difference, the game going to even out just a bit. It looks like both players now fully committing to that bio play as we see more barracks going down. Stim already on the way from AqueroN, but MarineLord should be starting it up right
now.
Now. It's going to be now. There it is.
Yeah, easy. Small soft contain here by MarineLord. He has a couple of units just sitting in the middle of the map trying to catch anything. It looks like AqueroN's going for a bit of aggression at the other side of the map himself, and I like this. If he can catch the Raven maybe out of position, no, he's just scouting for drops instead. Okay, I was wrong. His third is finishing up and turning into an orbital. Of course, MarineLord's third was quicker and is already mining, but he didn't have enough workers to fully saturate it, so it's not really the end of the world. Worker count will even up very soon, and the game is still very, very even. Both players have identical army supply, workers slightly favouring MarineLord, of course. Upgrades are very slightly further ahead here for our Spanish Terran player, and we're going to be moving into a bio-tank mid-game, and it's going to come down to drops and positioning as to who is able to take it.
God, I love this, Grant. This is my favorite, my absolute favorite. A TVT with this bio-tank versus bio-tank, which turns it into this really wonky positioning, map awareness, map control war. You can see AqueroN fanning out those Marines to try and keep an eye on the army movements. This is like how Terran players make up for not having overlords or observers, right? You just leave some billies all over the map, and eventually they'll see what's coming to you. They'll give their lives for the good of the Dominion, and it's impossible for either player to really push in and break the other one. So as long as the economies are fairly similar, which they are, MarineLord slightly ahead, but that'll get negated soon. Nice work there by AqueroN, by the way. But as long as the economies are fairly even, it's going to come down to positioning, map awareness, and tactics more than anything else. And my God, I love that in a StarCraft game.
Yeah, I do too. The air battle, of course, will be essential as well. We can see AqueroN is keeping an eye over here on the natural fourth base of MarineLord. His Marine split is pretty good. He certainly has more in the terms of vision right now. This is looking like it will go a little bit longer. 1-1 on the way for both of our players. At very similar times, supplies, as we said, still almost identical, with MarineLord just having slightly more workers that he got from that quicker third base. But the game so close. And if we take a look at the air armies right now, it is almost entirely even. Viking count slightly favors AqueroN, but the Raven count slightly favors MarineLord, and I put a little bit more onus, a little bit more respect onto the onto the Raven here, because it does offer a lot. But it's all going to come down to those positioning, and we have our first move out of the game, Creighton.
Finally, I'm so excited, Grant. I'm bouncing in my chair here because I love these sorts of engagements. My God, it's going to be great. AqueroN has enough tanks now to finally make a difference, where if the tanks siege up in the right position, they can punch a hole through MarineLord's defense. You'll see some players move out on like 1 or 2 tanks and try and engage into 1 or 2 tanks, and you're like, you don't have enough, mate. Don't try this. 2 tank shots before, 2 early tank shots if you only have 2 tanks is a huge deal. Now, what is AqueroN doing with those 2 tanks going back home to defend, I guess? A bit of a mistake from him. I'm not sure what the hell that's all about, but he's actually, wow, he's not even going to set up. He's going to go back home. I thought he was going to set up outside that 4th and maybe prevent MarineLord from moving out, but he's not. He's going to go ahead and retreat, which I think is probably the right call in the long run. I think he may have had a chance to do some damage there, but MarineLord slightly ahead, and AqueroN going to give himself a little more time to compose himself before this final engagement, before this first engagement. Yeah,
first and possibly final, Creighton. Who knows? You could be right. Both players, identical supply, identical upgrades. 2-2 not started for either. Both of them now just trying to set up the right positions. Oh my God, AqueroN. That's so brave. He's pushing out. AqueroN can't go for this. He should see this now with his Marines and maybe bring the medevacs back. I don't know. Maybe set up for a flank instead, because he has 3/4 of his army. Well, not 3/4. He has about half of his army right now sitting in medevacs that have been spotted by that Marine as well. Oh, this could be the trigger that MarineLord needs to go and to push up that ramp. Oh, I'm a little scared right now.
Yeah, the problem is that AqueroN has made the fatal mistake of not playing Protoss, Grant, so he has no recall available to him. for those units coming around the west side of the map right now. You can see MarineLord already has missile turrets in his main, ready for that push. But of course, AqueroN has a very nice defensive position. He's a Terran player with tanks. It's going to be hard to break him either way. And he does get a nice initial volley off on those Ravens. You can see the Ravens count currently in favor of AqueroN by about 1. Here's the drop, though. Vikings here to drive down the medevacs, but 3 of the medevacs are going to survive here. The 4th one barely going to go down. There it is. So 2 medevacs still alive here, but the 3rd base getting cleared out as MarineLord engages into AqueroN's 4th.
Yeah, there's so many tanks here offering so much damage. All the SCVs may need to be pulled. Anti-armor missile went off here for our blue Terran player, and that's offering so much in the air. But now it does look like finally AqueroN has won the air fight and can start to outrange the tanks. It looks like MarineLord is coming off worse in this. He lost a lot of workers. Both players did. It's hard to say because AqueroN hasn't been mining for a long time, but the workers are still alive. He's been now cleaned up. AqueroN needs to clean this position up very, very soon. That's his condition right now, and it's going to be so tough.
I think AqueroN won that decisively, and there are 2 reasons why. As you can see, that the SCV count has been reset. So even though MarineLord was on more bases, AqueroN has now reestablished his 3rd base. And, well, he's still 1 base behind, but he's all right because he's even on workers. But most importantly, look at the upgrades tab right now. While all of that was going on, 2, 2, and +1 vehicle weapons have started for AqueroN. And Grant, we say this every time on our channel. There's a mirror matchup where both sides are going for similar army compositions. Those upgrades matter the most in this series of engagements more than any other time in StarCraft history. It doesn't matter if you're playing a PvZ, TVP, whatever it is. If you have a mirror matchup where your compositions are the same, you want to have those upgrades. Is MarineLord pulling the boys, or is that a whole nother army?
That would be a whole other army, but it is an upgrade deficit army. And AqueroN stims forward. He's looking for the fight. Maybe could have committed a little harder there. Instead, going to pull back out of tank range, fall back to his medevacs and retreat. One thing I will say, and it's another thing we speak about often, is look at the units tab in terms of what is in the air. AqueroN has complete air control. There are no Vikings here. There's only 2 for MarineLord. And that means AqueroN's going to be able to take complete dominance of the sky, which is so important in these TVT matches.
He's going to break that 4th position right now.
Oh, these medevacs. Okay.
It's the one time in StarCraft where I would have recommended that a player get those large fuel tanks, high-capacity fuel tanks for the medevac so they can boost out a little bit more effectively. But behind all of this, AqueroN did close out his 4th base position, did clear MarineLord out of his little tank foothold that he's gotten, and MarineLord desperately pushing here because he knows that his economic advantage is the best thing he's got going for him. If he can keep AqueroN behind economically, he's got a chance, but right now, he's fighting into a death trap.
Yeah, there's so many tanks here. Now, they are on siege for a while, but these tanks will be able to unleash hell upon all of the Marines. The Marines finding a good position. MarineLord taking some pretty intelligent fights here, but the upgrade's great. And the upgrades, 3-3 has started for our red Terran player from Spain, our blue Terran player from France. Not even halfway through his 2-2, or just over halfway through his 2-2. Vehicle weapons is also done for AqueroN, not yet finished here for MarineLord. AqueroN's army is so much more efficient, so much more effective, and once he finds that correct fight, it will be a stomp in the current climate of this game.
You're right. Long-term, AqueroN's going to be in really good shape here with that 3-3, but I will say short-term, in about 30 seconds here, the 2-2 is going to be finished up for MarineLord. He is going to have equal opportunity to destroy AqueroN. He's kept AqueroN back on 3 bases, and look at the blue side of the map right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases, with 2 more going down at that 1 o'clock position. So right now, MarineLord really setting up for an economic advantage here, and he's going to have military equality for a short amount of time. If he can make this window count, as it looks like he's trying to do, he may have a chance to crush through AqueroN and overwhelm him with his economic advantage. But my god, that's a lot of defensive tanks from AqueroN.
Yeah, AqueroN has a massive tank lead right now, but he does have less Marines. He cannot push into this. AqueroN, you need to retreat. Oh, that was a big mistake. He loses so many units immediately under the overwhelming wave here of MarineLord's army, but he is able to retreat. He will be able to remax. He still has plenty of gas left in the tank in this game, and his 3-3 is ticking ever closer. Tick, tick, tick. The clock is ticking down here for MarineLord. It's getting a little bit scary. The tanks are spread out pretty well here from AqueroN. Maybe too many. Yeah, he's sorting it now. Over here in the triangle base as opposed to the straight line base. But AqueroN still does have the advantage in the sky, although only minimally now. He is down in workers. He is going to lose this gas geyser and a couple of workers, but he is queuing up for a drop. Oh my god, this is a MarineLord?
Wow, MarineLord taking we can only describe it as a very aggressive forward base. The kill goes down, not the cancel. Not that MarineLord cares though. He's maxed out now on 1,500 minerals, which means he's getting close to being forced to reach into his top desk drawer and get out that DreamHack sponsored monocle to pop in. So I'm a bit worried for him if he does get up to that point. But right now, 3-3 finishing up for AqueroN. 3-3 is, +3 infantry armors finished, +3 infantry weapons about to finish as well. And now, just like for the last 30 minutes or 30 seconds where MarineLord has had an opening, now it's time for AqueroN to have his opening, where he once again will have that upgraded advantage and needs to take a fight. And these siege tanks are all going to get up in time. Oh my god, MarineLord's going to lose so much. But here he goes, Grant.
Yeah, the bio in the back for AqueroN, as we said, +3 weapons finishing in just a couple of seconds, with +3 armor already done. There's some tanky boys. AqueroN takes a very, very good fight there. The first really good fight he's been able to take it in a fair few minutes in this game. His bases as well are secure, but he does need another base. He does need to completely push MarineLord out of his side of the map so he can expand up to the halfway point. He's doing a good job right now. He's certainly exerting his pressure. His window is it's declining slightly as MarineLord's upgrades tick along here, but I like what AqueroN's doing. Now, center towers for MarineLord, of course, giving complete vision, but this is looking like it could be a decent fight.
This is really interesting here. We see a military advantage for AqueroN, but an economic advantage for MarineLord for the past 10 minutes of the game. So even though AqueroN's been taking better fights, especially that last fight for MarineLord, very ill-advised. I don't know what the hell he was thinking taking that fight. But it does mean that MarineLord over time is going to have a better game. And look at this, both players already remaxed out, but MarineLord's bank getting bigger and bigger. So even though he's eating a bunch of shots from these tanks, he's still able to reproduce quite quickly, and he's already scrubbing in Liberators, which is a huge difference. Very low Liberator count right now for AqueroN, very high Liberator count coming out soon from MarineLord. Yeah,
4 at a time Liberators being produced, and that's very, very important. Now, Viking count does favor MarineLord again. Everything kind of right now seems to be going MarineLord. AqueroN did a great job, but the transition in the air was just a little bit too much. And at the same time, this tank to the south has actually killed the base. It was a single tank. It's been here for like 10 minutes now. Viking's going to land as well. AqueroN's starting to fall apart just a little bit in this late game. It does look like MarineLord has taken the fight he needs to take.
That fucking Giga Chad tank in the bottom 6 o'clock position, just destroying an entire base all on his own. It's every tank's dream to blow up a building with no additional fire support, and it's taken out the other one that's being built as well. My god, that tank is a freaking hero for MarineLord right now, and AqueroN knows it. He's like, man, tank too strong. Tank too strong! GG. MarineLord grabs game number 1.
Well, a close game, but in terms of resources, MarineLord was just able to get a lead and keep it, and then when it came to remaxing and things, MarineLord also taking some slightly better fights, I would say. AqueroN with a couple of very small mistakes, but this certainly isn't, as a series, going to be a whitewash. Even if we do end up looking at a 2-0, MarineLord is looking very, very strong, but AqueroN met him for most of that game. It was just a couple of small mistakes that I think he can adapt from and learn from, and we'll have an interesting game 2, and maybe even game 3.
There's some really, I was going to say some really egregious army engagement mistakes on both sides there. You know, we don't have time to talk about every single engagement in the game, but man, several of those engagements, especially for MarineLord, but AqueroN there by the end, just running Marines into tanks because you're confident you have that critical mass to gun them down when you don't. Bit of a miscalculation. Wasting scans on parts of the army that you don't need to see, whereas other parts of the army remaining unseen because you don't have map vision there. That happened a few times for both players as well. So some serious mistakes for engagements on both sides, but as you said, really great play overall from both players. And wouldn't be surprised to see a game 3. That definitely may happen.
Yeah, I think AqueroN had a very good attempt in that game. Let's take a look at maps. Although it is a mirror map, some players feel more confident on others. So the first map was AqueroN's choice. Now we are going on to Ever Dream next. Again, a very standard map, and we'll end on Pillars of Gold, which in TVT is also a relatively standard map. I do expect we'll mainly see bio from these guys, but I want to see what AqueroN does to mix it up. It did seem in the last game, especially that early game, was more efficient for him. He got in very early and did that damage, and some of the wins we've seen AqueroN pick up over this tournament have been off of the back of early game harass and aggression. So maybe commit a little bit more to that, go for something a bit cheeky, and see what he can do.
Something cheeky would be cute here. Man, I'd love to see one of these players trying to surprise the crap out of somebody with a triple proxy Rax or something. Man, that'd be fun to do. It seems unlikely, though, as again, for both these players, there's simply too much at stake right now, Grant. Neither player can afford to lose this series.
No. For now, let's introduce our players with a sponsorship from Team Cap He is the blue Terran player from France, leading the series 1-0. It's MarineLord.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side in the red, representing Team Roddy and Spain, it is AqueroN.
Okay, so gas first here from AqueroN.
I'm getting yelled at for my potty mouth in chat, Grant. Oh, man.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not. I'm one person. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to swear. I usually don't. It's just that tank was just so Chad. I just had to put a button on how powerful it was. And oh my God, Grant, I'm getting my wish. Look at this.
Yes. Now we do have a gas first opening from AqueroN, which means he is going to be able to get those units very, very quickly. But he hasn't scouted. I'm a little bit concerned because this is very, very aggressive, of course, here from our Terran player in the blue with a double proxy racks. There is gas taken, so this will be Reapers. We may see a factory go down as well. We'll keep an eye on what MarineLord does with his gas. He does have 3 workers in it. But this is hyper aggressive and looking to get some damage done. He's going to fly him into the main. Yeah.
That absolute mad lad, and there it is, the tech lab going down. This is not Reapers, I don't think. This is proxied concussive shell Marauders, Grant. This is, man, last game we got the awesome bio-tank style that I love, and this game we're getting my favorite units in the game, concussive shell Marauders, and we're getting them delivered intravenously to the main base.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm so happy. Man, I'm so happy.
As an AqueroN fan, maybe less happy from Grant here, but this is certainly very scary. He hasn't identified, he hasn't scouted a single thing. He has no idea as to what is happening right now, and he needs to figure this out. The Reaper is sharking around. It is looking for any proxies, looking for the proxy Stargate most likely, Starport, which isn't here. There is no vision that far into the main right now for AqueroN. He has no idea concussive shells have started. The first Marauder's already on the way. There's a Cyclone and another Reaper on the way here from AqueroN. All of these things really hate concussive shell Marauders. CC goes down in the natural. This is so frustrating if you're an AqueroN fan because this is not looking good.
No, it's not. Not spotted at all yet. Oh, man. Oh, man. Concussive, first Marauder popping out here. Concussive shells finishing up. And here we go. 3 Marauders into the main mineral line here. And these poor SCVs are going to flee for their lives. That's going to draw AqueroN back here. But even with the Reapers and the Hellion, it's going to take a lot of really nice control from AqueroN to drive this back.
Yeah, he does manage to get a relatively decent angle on here, trapping one of them completely. But of course, these Marauders offer so much DPS, and more of them are coming. Now, AqueroN can afford to lose a couple of workers, because of course his tech is ahead. But he needs to shut this down, he needs to shut it down now. He's not producing any more army units. It does look like he's going to have to kill pretty much all that is here. Actually, this Marauder's stuck, right?
Yeah, which is perfect because he doesn't have access to any SCVs to fix it. So that the Reaper can try and take it down here, but the Hellion getting repaired is the only thing driving that Marauder down. That's actually a blessing in disguise for MarineLord, who's, actively using that area so that he can't get surrounded by SCVs, thus negating their damage. And now the SCVs have got to divvy their time between trying to defend against the Marauders, and now he can just lift off, let him out, set it back down, and go. This is gorgeous from MarineLord. Yeah,
MarineLord has just done too much damage here. AqueroN already losing all of his workers almost. He's down to just 13, over half have gone down. And behind this, MarineLord is producing nothing but SCVs and Cyclones. He continues to produce Marauders here. This will be cleaned up, but I mean, it's 27 workers to 11, Graham.
What a beautiful play from MarineLord here. He's faking like he's still building Marauders. Maybe he's going to cancel those Marines, though, and invest back home. He's already got, as you said, those Cyclones coming out. Mag Field Accelerator on the way. He will lift off and probably lose one, maybe both of these barracks, but it doesn't matter. His starport coming down now, and like a Liberator, for example, would end this whole man's career. There are so many ways now for MarineLord to win, and so few ways for AqueroN to find a similar path to victory.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. It's not the way you ever want to see a player lose, of course, especially one that's having his breakthrough tournament, but MarineLord is relentless. He's found what he needed to do, and getting a full scout now as well, seeing the spoils of what seems to be his victory. Now, AqueroN is producing workers. He's trying, but he is 1 CC. He cancelled his natural. It's very difficult. I'm not sure what can be done in this scenario.
Can I just point out that our French players in this tournament, aside from MarineLord, who's having a very average tournament so far, our French players in this tournament are either doing incredibly well or pretty dang badly. In Group A, both Petit Drogo and Stefano in 2nd and 3rd place right now. But then in Group B, DNS and Garitos, 6th and 8th place, dropping out of the group guaranteed already. Group C, Clem, no surprises, 1st place. And then Group D here, Denver in very last place. And MarineLord is the only French player who's not like excelling or getting destroyed. He's the only one in the middle of his group here. What's up with France right now? They're doing either really well or really poorly in this tournament, Grant.
Yeah, so it's good to see so many French players here. The French team has always been such a big and important part with tournaments like the Iron Squid and things like that. And seeing them still so strong and that infrastructure behind them so strong with sponsorships like Coca's KAP is just great to see. AqueroN is trying to push out, but we have Banshee coming out here from MarineLord, which is going to be really, really good. I mean, AqueroN has to find damage. He has a lot in the medevac. He can maybe try and unload it all into the main. But these Cyclones, so much damage.
Yeah, the medevac getting targeted down, actually really smart. It looks like, oh, he should have targeted down the siege tank. No. You get the medevac first, then you're guaranteed to get the siege tank as